You're watching Fox 13's Good Day in high definition.
Okay, Casey Anthony is out. That's the big news this morning. Most of us figured that would be the last we'd hear about her, but instead it is turning into another week of lawsuits. More courtroom drama centered around this woman some say is the most hated woman in the world. Joining us this morning for the latest on the case that just keeps on giving and more is our weekend attorney, Felix Vega.
Good morning, Narissa.
Good morning. So overnight news here, Casey, a free woman. We know she's not going to go home to Orlando to her parents,
right.
But we have heard that she may be going to Texas. She could be going to New York. What have you heard, and what are your thoughts on this?
There was a lot of rumors swirling last night because when she got out of jail around 11 a.m., she walked out right out the front door of the jail. There were actually three scenarios in place. You can see right there as she comes out right behind Jose Baez. Once she left the jail, as you've been reporting all morning, they got in a caravan, went downtown, then went to the Orlando Executive Airport. There were two planes that were spotted on the tarmac. One was registered to Westchester County in New York. There was some speculation she could be going there, possibly to do a TV appearance. And there was another one I saw this morning that came out. There was a jet that was fueled up and ready to go to Columbus, Ohio. We know her family's from Columbus, and that could be possibly one of the jets that took off. There were helicopter shots. I know one of the local affiliates over there was watching as people boarded one of the planes. We're not sure, though, which plane Casey actually got on, so it still remains to be seen, and if she's going to even service it all. I was talking to Anthony Miller about that last night in our 10 o'clock show, that basically she should lay low for a while and let things die down.
Now, what did you think of her demeanor out here as a prosecutor with clients? What would you be advising her to how to act? Because everyone's like, oh, how did she look? Well, what was she saying?
Well, I know myself, but a prosecutor, I wouldn't have clients, but as defense attorneys would probably tell her, look straight ahead. Don't do anything. Don't say anything to the cameras, because you don't want to be goaded into saying something that's going to be turned around against you at this point.
Exactly.
Like you said, they don't want to draw attention to herself. She walked out of there. She gave a simple thank you to one of the SWAT officers that was standing there, and then she simply went out the front door.
Okay, let's talk about the other lawsuit. There's another lawsuit coming up for her against her in Texas, the Texas company. Tell us about that.
This is actually a lawsuit that was filed by Texas EquiSearch. It's actually the company they came in. It's a nonprofit organization. They came in and searched for Kaylee Anthony during July and August and September of 2008. They're suing her for about $112,000 in expenses that they incurred with all the volunteers that they hired and all the people that were searching for them. There were reports, according to the complaint, there was 4,200 volunteers that were actually searching for Kaylee. They're saying now that they were duped into looking for her, knowing all along that Casey and her attorney, Jose Baez, knew that Kaylee was in fact dead, regardless of the fact that it was George and Cindy that actually hired them or actually requested that they come out and search for Kaylee.
Okay, and we know that the hate around the country and the world is still growing for her. Really quick on that.
Yeah, it was really, it got out of hand this week. There were two stories I saw. One, a woman out in Oklahoma was attacked by a woman basically, that thought she looked like Casey Anthony. Another man on his Facebook was being bombarded because he had the name Casey Anthony. So this is a story that is not going to die down just yet. The jurors, a lot of them have left Pinellas County. We saw reports of that over the week too. So this is something that's going to have to be dealt with in the coming weeks.
Okay, much more to talk about. On the flip side, Casey Anthony also has, believe it or not, a lot of fans, huge following. You can see it on Facebook. There's money that was going to Casey Anthony rolling in. Felix is going to join us again in the next hour of Good Day to address that and what she can do with that money that she gets. So.
That's right. She walked out of there with that money. So much more in our next hour.
All right. Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Felix
Marisa.
Vega, our weekend attorney. And okay, so she is out of jail, but she's not off the hook just yet. Casey still has plenty to worry about today. Attorney Felix Vega joins us again to talk about Casey's future. So Felix, let's really quick run through today's events. Was this release pretty standard?
It was, aside from the one thing that was different was the coordination of the media. There was the one NBC News photographer that was in there, a still photographer from the Orlando Sentinel, an AP reporter. As you can see that video right there of Casey walking out with Jose Baez. She was directed by Jose Baez, we now know, not to say anything. She looked straight ahead at the door and was really focused on getting out of the jail. That's what they were really focused on.
And you have been a defense attorney as well before you were a prosecutor. You know that's the kind of advice that you would give a client. Just no poker face,
Correct.
basically.
You don't want to give the media any more any more fodder for them to have.
Don't give them any material,
exactly,
right?
especially for the public to also comment on it and open up that firestorm again.
Okay, we didn't get to talk about this in the 7 o'clock hour, but Zenaida Gonzalez, she's still pursuing that suit.
Yes, Zanny the nanny is still pursuing her defamation suit against Casey Anthony. There was one big break in this case this week. We know that lawyers for Zanny's the nanny, John Morgan, wanted to take Casey Anthony's deposition. That was originally scheduled to happen this Tuesday. The lawyer for Casey Anthony, Charles Green, said he was unavailable. That forced him back into court. The judge in the civil suit actually ended up recusing himself on Friday. A new judge was appointed, and then it was postponed to October 8th at the earliest. The other thing that happened on Friday that was significant was a lot of people asking, why is she appealing the 4 misdemeanor convictions that she has on her record right now for lying to the police? Very simply, that prevents her from having to testify in a deposition because essentially she can invoke her Fifth Amendment right to remain silent again because it's still part of an open case, even though it's on appeal.
Okay, let's talk about Casey's fans, because we always talk about how she's so hated, but she does have a lot of fans on Facebook, and she was getting a lot of money in jail while she was in jail in her canteen fund.
Right, she was getting money through her canteen fund. We know that there was donations coming in throughout the entire time that she was actually in jail. At last check yesterday, she had about $528 in her fund, but I think that went to cover some court costs that she still owed to the court system. However, there are people, as you can see right there, support Casey Anthony. That's one of the Facebook pages that we were looking at yesterday and also this morning. There are over 5,500 people that are liking this website. There are tons of comments that our producer Mark and I were looking at just a little while ago, talking about justice was served. You go get them. Make your money, forget about the haters. So she has a broad support network, at least on Facebook. Whether or not that's going to translate into real supporters in real life, that's a different story.
And what did you say? What can she do with that money? Is she going to be obligated to do anything with that money?
With the money that she makes from the...
Or anything?
Well, there's two things. One, if she makes money from any sort of book deal or appearances, that's going to be one thing, whether or not she's going to be able to, the lawyers in Zenaida Fernandez's suit, if they're successful, whether or not they're going to be able to attach that money. Her money from her canteen fund, it was about $580. That probably went to some court costs. She still owes court costs in thousands of dollars for the misdemeanor conviction. So any money that she makes from here on out, it probably will have to go into some sort of trust account or be put away in a savings account. I don't even know if she's going to be able to touch a lot of it with all these lawsuits going out there. We talked about the EquiSearch suit that's also pending against her as well.
That's the balance of it all. Yeah, so she gets a lot of money, but she has a lot of things that she has to pay.
Exactly.
So, okay. Well, thank you. We ran out of time, but thank you, Felix, for giving us all that information, all the insight on that. And of course, we're going to have much more on this story throughout the morning on Fox 13. And don't forget to check out myfoxtampabay.com because there's lots of good stuff on there too. All right, folks, in other news right now, an